Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good people. Looks like I had a good workout today. Today is Sunday, August 17th, 2025. Wow. Correct. The month is almost halfway over. Here we are in southwestern Nevada, in the area that is west of Sin City, east of Death Valley, south of Area 51. We are in Art Bell, George Norrie territory, where there's a lot of sharp-elbowed, rootin' tootin', pistol shooting, pistol packing, rootin' tootin', pistol packing, pitchfork people. How about that? And some good people too. You just got to find them. It's hard. It's not hard to tell. Let's see. What is that joke? It's not hard to tell people from Pahrump. You just can't tell them much. Something like that. Okay, so here we is. Common sense of. All right, we'll look at that later. That's from Lucy. Lucy. Okay, today is G.school. Monday through Friday, our focus is helping our students, interested people on their journey through this life where we have a transcendent soul and we continue on the path we're on next. So the goal is to keep focused on the big picture. Big picture is becoming one with Jesus. What happened? I'm very blurry. To become one with Jesus and the Father, and that by keeping his commandments. He said the first, when was asked, what's the most important commandment? He said, love God with all your heart and mind and soul. And the second is to love one another, love each other, love your neighbor as yourself, which I think he goes on to further clarify in John 15, 13, 12. Love one another as I have loved you. And he said, on these, that all of the other commandments hang. Then at the end, he says, I'm giving you a commandment to make disciples of all nations. So if we just go by the plain meaning of the gospel, what Jesus said, we can come to the conclusion that there's three things we need to do. Love God with all our heart and mind and soul. Love one another as he loved us. And number three is to, make disciples of all nations. Does he say don't do that on the Sabbath or on the Lord's Day? Make disciples of all nations except one day a week. No, he didn't say that. Can you interpret it to mean that? Sure. Sure you can. So it would be Evangelia sola. You could say sola scriptura, right? That is the Protestant belief, sola scriptura. The theology that I propose is called Evangelia sola, Gospels only. Gospels only. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So good morning once again. And today's theme is, are you on rocky soil? Are you on rocky soil? And the answer is probably, well, I'm not on the most optimum soil. Advice from an 80-year-old. give people a second chance and a third, etc. Last night we ran into someone who had been in the program that took advantage of it, dropped out. Now it's kind of or had the person come forward and said, you know what, I screwed the pooch. I want to repent. Please rebuke me. What do I need to do to make this right? For the last 4 weeks, no, for the last 6 weeks, that person would have been making $600 a week gross, taking home about $500 a week, and that person's life would have been changed. But no, person not knowing any better said, well, I'm not doing anything. Screw him. That's SOB. I'm not going to say anything. And the people around him didn't say, you know what, you need to go do the right thing. You need to make things right. You need to make things right. Somebody helped you. You took advantage of them. And you thought it was about you. And then you didn't apologize. You weren't rebuked. You did not repent. You're going down your same path. Had you repented, the probability is you would have gotten forgiven yet again. But now what you've done is you've closed that door, locked the door, barricaded the door, so that's not a passageway to your future by your own doing. Okay. Let's see, TED Talk, Amy Cuddy, body language, our body language. So we are used to observing other people's body language to us. We look at their body language, we try to figure them out. People who are a little bit smarter say, I'm going to have my body language project onto you. First law of power, right? Second law of power. I'm going power perceived is power achieved. So I'm going to project my body language to you so you have some ideas about me. Amy Cuddy, Harvard Business School professor, Amy Cuddy's thing is, what about our body language to ourselves? We know that when we're in certain circumstances, our body language reflects it. We can see that in animals. They get big or they get small. And it's the same in humans. When they're put in stressful situations, we tend to get small. When we're confident, we win a race, we win something, we get big. So her thing was, well, can we fake it till we become it? If we do this for 5 minutes, will it change our body chemistry? Will it release the neurotransmitters that we want to release? Will it do that? And she tested it, and the answer was yes. By doing the things that we do when we are happy or whatever, by doing the things we do when we have certain emotions going on, by doing those things proactively that we do reactively, our body chemistry will do the same thing. This will increase testosterone and reduce cortisol. This, especially grabbing your neck, will increase cortisol and reduce testosterone. That's it. Boom. Our body language to ourselves. Very powerful stuff. You got to watch the Amy Cuddy video, though, and for a long time, and it may still be, that was the #1 TED Talk of all time. Still might be. Sure, I'm sure it's in the top 10. And it's getting harder and harder to knock that off because when that came out, there were very few TED Talks. Now, there's probably 50 TED Talks per day. Just saying. Okay, what else we have on our hit parade? Seth Godin. Seth Godin. What sort of success? Long one. How are we doing for time? Such a runic rhyme. Okay, give it a shot. What sort of success? Who's it for? It's not simply a question about your target customer. Milton Friedman offered to let us off the hook. The only thing the work is for is to maximize shareholder value, he said. Nothing else is worth measuring. The thing the work is for is to maximize shareholder value. I've never met anyone who consistently believed this. There are folks who find it easy to allow money to make their decisions for them. But at some point, all of us move away from this empty path. Work is an expression of ourselves and a chance to find meaning as we make a difference and earn a living. When we choose to serve our customers, we find a more reliable compass instead of only following the money. The customers are right there in front of us, and we can see and feel the results of our work every day. This is the doctor who spends a few extra minutes with the patient in need, or the staff member with the boss who rewards a customer-centric approach, especially if it's more expensive in the short run. But how about artists who choose to produce paintings they love instead of those that will easily sell? This is a different sort of success, one that's not measured in how many customers one has, but in our pride and satisfaction with the work we create. Some symphony orchestras wrestle with the journey of finding a unified definition of success. There are musicians who have paid their dues, 20 or 30 years of practice and dedication. Many of them want to play challenging work with time to hone their craft. The purpose of the work is to allow them to follow their creative path. The audience is just a way to achieve that. Others are eager to play crowd-pleasing programs, discovering that audience success rewards them even more than their own definition of artistry. Interesting. The conflict in any organization is a challenge. We'd like our team members to use their best judgment to find the satisfaction they seek in their work, but what happens when these definitions of success don't align? Too often, management simply conceals what they really seek or lies about it. If employees are our most important asset, then why not act that way? Let's be clear about who it's for and what it's for. It makes decision-making more productive and communication and measurement far more effective. Okay, that was a long one, a little bit too long to digest, but it's there, it's in the record, it's in historically, boom, grounded in eternity. It's at least one person who has stored an oral copy of Seth's TED Talk. Okay, how are we doing for time? Rocky soil, right. Parable. I don't know the parable of the sower of the seeds, one of the most famous ones. When evangelizing. Yesterday, I did a perplexity thing that was actually pretty good. It was pretty rewarding, seeing how perplexity is getting better. Not that it was bad, but getting more communicative. So not just answering my prompts, but commenting on the quality of the prompt. So we narrowed it down to actually the point where Perplexity responded, okay, so good, you've got this thing narrowed down to the 3 categories that Pew Research has already identified when it comes to the universe of people who are not religious. Okay, so we can take all people in the world and say some people are religious, we'll put them over here, and the rest are not. Of the ones that are not religious, meaning they don't go to church, is the simple thing. They don't go to church. So religion is identified with fellowship with others in an organized way, like going to church. The people who don't go to church can be divided into 3 categories. And the easiest way to describe it again, like I did, is you give them a Bible, and one group says, wow, haven't looked at this for a while. They know the Bible, have an idea, they just have lost interest. The next group says, so those are lapsed Christians. The next group says, oh yeah, cool, what version of the Bible is this? Oh yeah, I've got one of those too, and I have it on the shelf next to my 3 other Bibles and my other spiritual stuff, because I'm highly spiritual and I have my incense and my crystals and I have all that stuff. And I have my own theology. I'm very spiritual. I just don't believe in that church structure thing. And then the third group are the people who you give them a Bible and they say, golly gee, I always wondered what this was. They have no idea. What can you tell me about Jesus? Well, a whole bunch of people believe he's God, type of thing. Very, very limited idea. And perplexity through going through the thing became very clear that, yeah, Pew has, those are basically the 3 slight differences, but those are the 3 categories that Pew identifies. So who do we evangelize to? If you are a daily Bible reading Christian, I argue, do not evangelize to the non-Christian group, people who don't know the Bible. Don't do it. You're so deep. That's like a college calculus teacher teaching 1st grade arithmetic. Don't do it. It's not fulfilling to you, and you're going to go too deep for them. That's like inviting people to church, especially if it's like a Seventh-day Adventist church, highly ritualized. Okay. Now, also, if you're a Bible thumping, read it everyday person, don't try to evangelize people who are spiritual, because you just have one slice. They're broad, and you're not going to get through. You're not going to get around them. You're not going to outflank them. You're not going to penetrate that core that they have. So what's left? The lapsed Christians. The lapsed Christians. Now you've got something to talk about, because at one time you were probably a lapsed Christian as well. Go to the people who are in the casinos, that are playing the slot machines, and the people who are in Walmart, got a gun on their hip, whatever. Go to those people. And you can ask a simple question. What's your favorite gospel? If they say, huh? What? If they say that, next. You just say, hey, I'm doing a survey. What's your favorite gospel passage? Or what's your favorite gospel? Or I'm doing a survey for school, Bible school, doing a survey for school. Do you consider yourself a Christian? Good. What's your favorite Bible? What's your favorite gospel? And if they say, Mark, whatever, if they seem to know it, lapsed Christian. Oh, cool. If it's like, oh, I like the Gospel of John. Wow, it sounds like you go to church every day or every week. Yeah, I do. Okay, that's a religious person. They just said they're religious. They go to church every week. What's your favorite gospel? I'm doing a survey. What's your favorite gospel? Mark. Cool. Sounds like, why Mark? Then you got to find out, are they religious? Yes. Next. Okay, now, but where do you go to church? Well, I go to Bedside Baptist. Joke. I go to Bedside Baptist. Aha, you're somebody I want to talk to. Why'd you stop going? And with that, we're going to say, and cut. Boom.